everyone, and welcome to e-sipnayan, your math guide through senior high school. So for today's video, we are going to discuss general annuity. Again, do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button to our channel, e-sipnayan. So the objective for today's video is for you to be able to compute for the future and present value of a general annuity. Let's start with the definition of a general annuity. So in a general annuity, it is a type of annuity where the interest conversion period is unequal or not the same as the payment interval. So for example, you are paying monthly but you are compounding quarterly. So if the compounding period is not the same as your payment interval, then it falls under general annuity. Okay, there are two classifications of general annuity. We have general ordinary annuity and general annuity due. So the concept of these two classifications is very much similar with simple annuities, or the type classification of simple annuities. So in an ordinary annuity, the payments are made at the end of each payment interval, while in an annuity due, the payments are made at the beginning of each payment interval. Okay, identifying the type of annuity is important for you to be able to determine what formula to use in a given problem. Okay, so for the future value of a general annuity, we use the following formula. Okay, so we have a future value of general ordinary annuity and the formula for the future value of general annuity due. So as you can see, most of the variables are the same as the variables in the formula of simple annuity. Okay, so we have FV as the future value, capital letter P as the periodic payment, R is the rate of interest, and T is the time in years, and the number of compounding periods per year. Okay, so in a general annuity, there are two additional variables. So we have small letter p, which represents the number of months in a payment interval, and small letter c, which represents the number of months in a compounding period. Okay, so you have to be able to identify the values of these variables for you to use the formula. Now, for the present value of a general annuity, we use the following formula. Okay, so same as the variables that we had earlier, PV is the present value, capital letter P is the periodic payment, R is the rate of interest, T is the time in years, N is the number of compounding periods per year, P is the number of months in a payment interval, and C is the number of months in a compounding period. Okay, now let's have an example. So Leila loaned an amount to buy a new sofa. She agreed to pay 700 pesos every end of the month for 2 years at 4% interest compounding semi-annually. Question is, how much was her original loan? So to answer this problem, we start with our given values. So we have the periodic payment of 700 pesos, a rate of 4% or 0.04 in decimal form, N is equal to 2 because it compounds semi-annually. The time is 2 because she'll be paying for 2 years. Small letter p is 1 because she's paying every month. So the number of months in a payment interval is 1. And the small letter c is 6 since it compounds semi-annually. So the number of months in the compounding period is 6 months. Okay, so let us now identify what type of annuity is involved in this situation. So it is said that you are paying monthly but compounding semi-annually. So since the payment interval is not the same as the compounding period, this is a general annuity. And since the payments are made at the end of each payment interval, then we are dealing with the general ordinary annuity. Okay, so we are solving for present value because you are being asked how much was the original loan. Okay, so the formula for the present value of general ordinary annuity is PV equals P times 1 minus 1 plus R over N raised to negative N times T all over 1 plus R over N raised to P over C minus 1. So we simply substitute our given values to the formula. Okay, and using our calculators, we will get the value 16,125 pesos and 22 centavos. Therefore, she originally loaned this particular amount. Okay, let's have our next example. Okay, Marian decided to deposit 5,000 pesos at the start of every quarter at an account that earns 5% interest compounding annually. So the question is, how much will be the total amount in her account after 10 years? Again, we start with the given value. So our periodic payment is 5,000 pesos. Our rate of interest is 5% or 0.05. Our number of compounding periods per year is 1 since it compounds annually or once a year. The time is 10 or 10 years. The small letter P is 3 since every quarter is the same as every 3 months. Okay, you are paying every 3 months. And then for the small letter C, since it compounds annually, it means it compounds every 12 months. So we have 12. Okay, so let us now identify what type of annuity is involved. So since you are paying every quarter and it compounds annually, then this is a general annuity. And since the payments are made at the start of each payment period, then we are dealing with general annuity due. Okay, so the question is, how much will be the total amount in her account after 10 years? So since the amount that we are solving for is the amount after a particular amount of time, then we are actually solving for future value. Okay, so the formula for the future value of general annuity due is this. Now substituting the values to our formula, okay, and using our calculators, we can now compute that Marian will have 259,371 pesos and 9 centavos after 10 years. Okay, next example. Mona loaned an amount to buy a stove. She agreed to repay the loan by paying 2,250 pesos at the start of each month at 5% interest compounding quarterly. So if she has to make 6 payments to repay her loan, how much was the cash price of the stove? So again, we start with the given values. Our periodic payment is 2,250. Our rate is 5% or 0.05. Our number of compounding periods is 4 since it compounds quarterly. The time is 0.5 since she's paying monthly and she only have to make 6 payments. So that's equivalent to 6 months or half a year. Remember that the time should always be expressed in years. Okay? And next is the number of months in a payment interval. She's paying every month, so that is 1. And of course, our number of months in a compounding period is 3 since quarterly is the same as every 3 months. Okay? Now, let's identify the type of annuity involved in the situation. So, it says here that you're paying every month and compounds quarterly. So, this is a general annuity. And since the payments are made at the start, we know that this is a general annuity due. Okay? Now, the question is, how much was the cash price of the stove? So, since we are being asked how much was the cash price or the price of the stove without interest, okay, we are actually solving for the present value. Okay? So, the formula for the present value is this. Okay? So, we simply substitute our values, our given values to the formula. Okay, and using our calculators, we can compute that the cash price of the TV was 13,361 pesos and 30 centavos. Okay? Next example. Ara saves 4,000 pesos at the end of every 6 months at an account that earns 2% interest compounding monthly. So the question is, how much will be in her account in 5 years? So again, we start with our given values. Periodic payment is 4,000. The rate is 2% or 0.02. The number of compounding periods is 12 since it compounds monthly. The time is 5. The number of months in a period in the payment interval is 6 since she saves every 6 months, and the number of months in a compounding period is 1 since it compounds monthly or every 1 month. Okay? So the type of annuity involved in this situation is general ordinary annuity, since the payment interval, which is every 6 months, is not the same as the compounding period, which is monthly, and the payments are made at the end of each payment interval. Now, since we are being asked how much will be in her account after a certain number of years, then we are actually solving for the future value of a general ordinary annuity. Okay, so the formula for the future value of general ordinary annuity is this. Okay, so we simply substitute our given values to the formula, and using our calculators, we will be able to compute that Ara will have a total of 41,856 pesos and 78 centavos in 5 years. Okay, so that is how we compute for the future value and present value of general annuities. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you all on our next video. Bye everyone!